For thousands of years, Okanagan sockeye were plentiful and fed our people. Then Europeans came. Dams were built. Our salmon almost died out. But now we are learning to work together to bring our salmon back.
Okanagan sockeye are a miracle of nature. They are born here, then travel great distances before coming back to spawn. Why do salmon migrate? And how do they find their way home? We can only wonder. Eggs are laid in the fall here, in one of the last natural stretches of the Okanagan River. They hatch in the spring and spend their first year in Osceola Lake, before following the path of countless generations down the Okanagan into the Columbia and out to sea. A few years later, when they are ready to spawn, their intuition and determination propels them to fight the currents all the way home. They get to Osceola Lake in July, then go back to the same stretch of river where they were born. Most die within a week of spawning. Their bodies feed everything from eagles to bears. The eggs rest on the bottom of the river in their gravel nest and await the warmth of spring.
Long ago, when our world was young, Phillip told our people, "Give me a wife, and I will give you salmon." The runs that Phillip gave were so plentiful that we based our life around them. The biggest villages were built beside the rapids where the best fishing was. Okanagan Falls was one. Kettle Falls was another. When sockeye runs came in, thousands of people gathered to fish and trade. The runs were in the heat of summer when fish could be dried in a matter of days. People came from as far away as the Great Plains. They traded horses and buffalo robes for wind-dried sockeye. Visitors arrived from distant tribes. The festival atmosphere went on for weeks. Young men ran races. Old ones told stories. Marriages took place. When the first fish was caught, the salmon chief led the ceremony to honor the salmon and respect the cycle of life so that the good runs would continue.
The last century was as tough on our salmon as it was on our people. European settlement destroyed habitat. Overfishing depleted stocks. Then came the dams. On the Columbia, electricity for a growing nation meant death for migrating salmon. The Grand Coulee Dam destroyed the traditional fishing ground in the South Okanagan. The ceremony of tears drew 10,000 First Nations peoples. Soon, the millennia-old fishing grounds in the North Okanagan disappeared too. By the 1990s, the Okanagan River was endangered, and local extinction was predicted for our sockeye.
The salmon is very important to us. It's one of our 4 food chiefs who had responsibilities, just as we have responsibilities. I think the work that we're undertaking as a nation is admirable and honorable and sacred. If it wasn't for the chiefs, our leaders, past and present, that give us the mandate, it wouldn't get done. So it is their decisions, it is their actions that speak to the importance of salmon recovery efforts for the Okanagan Nation.
You know, it's a real indication of the powerful nature of our people to be able to work collectively together to advance a common position.
It's just a matter of getting our communities together and talking with them on some of the processes that we're trying to initiate here as a chief and council. And
it's awesome. It's so cool to see our people fishing in sites that they haven't fished in for 100 years. And of course, the salmon are a very important part of our history and our people and our activities as far as not just a food source, but a ceremonial source and a spiritual source, because of course the lakes and rivers in the Okanagan Nation are the most important thing when it comes to how we gauge our stewardship of the land.
I'm so proud of the work that was undertaken by the Okanagan Nation Fisheries Department, and I would like to acknowledge the hard work going all the way back to the late Chief Albert Saddleman.
He was the instrumental driving factor in the creation of the Okanagan Nation Fisheries Commission. You could understand that one day that having the salmon back would be having immense benefits to us. And people need to remember that because Albert was very instrumental in all this.
I really am inspired by the return of the Okanagan salmon. It's a wonderful story about what we can do when we put our minds to changing a situation, a physical environment. That's the way of our people. That demonstrates the connection that we have.
The work of the salmon recovery efforts is ongoing. There has been certainly success in numbers coming over McIntyre and up the Columbia Basin. Has it been restored pre-contact? Highly unlikely. Can it be? That's the vision. That's the commitment. That's the optimism. I think we have it within ourselves as people, as a society, to do whatever it takes and whatever it needs to take to always be mindful of how we're caring for our natural world, how we're caring for each other. Am I optimistic? Yes.
The time was right. The 1990s were a period of change. First Nations were taking the government to court and winning. Aboriginal rights and title were finally gaining recognition. Elders laid the groundwork. The Garin decision followed. And then Sparrow recognized our right to fish. The playing field was shifting. It was time to realize the vision of bringing back our fish.
To restore a fishery, you must think like a fish. So the ONA formed a fisheries department to do exactly that. Over the past 15 years, 5 key initiatives have been put into play. Cooperate. Cooperation is key, which is why the ONA works with government agencies in Canada and the US. Keep the water flowing. If a stream dries up because the water has gone to irrigation fields, then salmon can't spawn. And once laid, eggs are fragile things. So one of the first things the ONA did was install computers that help keep water levels as fish-friendly as possible. Add another lake. Young salmon hang out in Osuyas Lake while they grow up enough to migrate. Mature salmon wait out the summer here before spawning. In 2003, with much excitement, the ONA introduced sockeye fry back in the Skaha Lake. Add more river. For more than 60 years, salmon could swim upstream in their traditional range only as far as McIntyre Dam. The ONA's next project was to get fish passage over the dam. Our salmon gained another 8 kilometers of river in tiny Vasu Lake. Restore what we have. Fish like rivers that meander. Trees create cool, shady pools. Leaves fall, adding nutrients. Bugs, and life. When our river looks like this, fish suffer. which is why another ONA project is a river restoration.
We also undertake the work that is required in terms of our ceremony, in terms of our spiritual connection to our relations, which include the salmon, our mother, and which is our land. And we're all interconnected, and we all need one another to survive.
Taken all together, the impact of these projects has been remarkable.
When chiefs first started talking about getting salmon back, and there are people within our community saying, oh, that'll never happen, that there's always doubters, that people that don't believe. But then there are always other people that always do believe and always work toward achieving those goals for our community.
When I think about the fish and the salmon coming back, it's a good feeling. I know because I connected more with my grandpa by fishing just up to here at the dam actually this year. And we only might have caught 7 in an 8-hour day, but that's fine. Just learning how to do it, it was awesome.
I'm really happy that it's coming back, and that our people are getting out there and fishing more and taking care of the land. I think it's really good. It can be kind of hard sometimes, balancing school and ceremonies, traditions, but I really enjoy it, and I know that the elders like to see youth come out to these things and participate and help out a little.
Bringing him fishing was a really big thing for him. We didn't catch any fish, but it was just that bonding time that we had together.
Well, I think what the festival means is that we're still here, that the Seal people are still here after thousands of years and multiple generations of traditional use and harvesting of our resources. It reaffirms our commitments to the land.
That part of the culture, those aspects of our life revolving around salmon, that's coming back.
The return of our salmon to our territory is strengthening our people, strengthening our young, and giving hope to our elders, in terms of the direction that we're going as young people.
I know that as Silk people, we have accomplished a lot of things. This is the most people I've ever seen at the salmon feast, and how awesome it was. And she said, well, the salmon are back, so the people are back. And I was like, that's right, that is so cool. And it's so true that the salmon helped to bring us together as well.
Like when I was younger, I figured, like my grandma, she was talking to me. She's like, slowly the old ways are coming back. And, I believed that for the longest time, and I still do.
I was saying that the camp here, there used to be 2,000 to 3,000 people here, and that's what I was telling some of the kids the other night when we had the performances. I said, could you imagine 3,000 of our people getting together for a couple of weeks? And they really enjoyed that, and so they thought about that. So our young people are thinking, they are participating, and everybody's benefiting from this, right from very young to the old. We were involved with the canoeing also, so just the craftsmanship of the canoes and just being on the water again.
You know, and the canoes were always part of the big fish story too, you know, like they could come from the North Okanagan down here in a canoe to fish, you know. You know, some of the places up there in the Vernon area, they were called Canoe Beach a long time ago, that one in Vernon. There were so many canoes on this quarter mile, half mile of beach, it'd be just full of canoes, you know.
You know, that we're able to connect here again with salmon that haven't been here, and listening and hearing that in the people, hearing it in the songs, hearing it in the talk, the laughter. It is a really powerful event.
Over the years, it's come a long ways, and now we're able to catch hundreds of salmon and distribute amongst our elders and our community members throughout the whole Okanagan Nation. And it's a real good feeling because you've got something back that was lost. And it was lost by the destruction of our waterway, by damming and other things like that. You know, that's how we lost it all. But now that we have it coming back, and you know, we're gaining strength again through our fish.
Now that the salmon are back, we have new problems to deal with. Getting fish to feed our families is something we all agree on. That's the easy part. The ONA has been distributing fish to communities for a few years now. But now that we can finally fish again, a whole new set of issues come up. How many should we catch? Is it okay to sell our sockeye? It's a high-end product loved by gourmets and the local food movement. With the first big return in 2011, the ONA began a commercial fishery on a pilot basis. We have the technology, we have the skilled workers, and we have this opportunity for economic development. The revenue from sales helps support our nation's goals. Also, showing economic reliance on salmon puts us in a stronger position when it comes to international negotiations. We are a trans-border tribe. That border is not our border. The salmon don't know of borders. They've been blocked, but they still persevere. And so shall we. In the same way that the salmon make their way up one ladder after another, so it is for us, the Syilx people. Our salmon are back. We've climbed the toughest ladder, but we still have more ladders to climb.
We haven't fished for over 50 years. Our people don't know how to do it anymore. They don't know when it's time. They don't know how to read the signs on the land that tell us when the salmon are coming. We need to come together. We need to find our own answers. What do we want from our fisheries? What is our vision for our fish? They need clear, clean water, just like we do. What are we doing about this? We have to work to regain what was lost. We must live up to our responsibilities to the 4 food chiefs. We must reconnect to the land, and we've got to stop fighting each other. We need to work together. This is our nation. These are our lands. This is our responsibility as Scale Seal people. Go out on the land with your family. Go hunting. Take your children berry picking. Go to fish camp. As ik ga neemt het te mchula te kusukna kein kus Scale. Het stem te mich te mchula is islandet. Kulat specham, kulat oleum, kulat kakhulcham. Is islandet het stem. Daar lijkt het stem. Limlamt. Kania pnas khalkhal tipis naksil. Wai.